Man arrested after holding 7 children against their will. Driver arrested after high-speed crash. And judge sentences St. George man convicted of killing landlord.
You're watching St. George News at 5, brought to you by our studio sponsor, Me Win Injury Law.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica McLaughlin. A man was arrested late Saturday night after reportedly barricading himself in a St. George hotel room with 7 children during an alleged domestic violence incident at the Quality Inn on Bluff Street. According to St. George Police, officers responded around 11 p.m. and separated Jonathan Daisy and a woman reportedly involved in a physical fight. Daisy then barricaded the room, allegedly holding the children hostage and threatening harm. SWAT breached the room, removing the children with no reported injuries. Daisy faces multiple charges, including kidnapping, child abuse, and aggravated assault. A 25-year-old driver was arrested in Cedar City early Sunday after reportedly crashing into a parked car at nearly 80 miles per hour on Northfield Road. Cedar City police say the driver, Douglas Robert Wayland, was under the influence of THC and had taken the car without permission. Wayland faces multiple charges, including vehicle theft, DUI, reckless driving, and possession of a controlled substance. He had previously been on probation for drug possession, with a court hearing scheduled for September 9th due to probation violations. A St. George man, 44-year-old Joel Curtis Flores, was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison for first-degree murder and other charges related to the 2022 shooting death of his landlord. We'll go to Cody Blowers for more details.
44-year-old Joel Curtis Flores appeared before District Judge Eric A. Ludlow in the 5th District Courtroom in St. George. Flores was convicted of first-degree murder and felony discharge of a firearm following a jury trial held in July. The charges stem from a shooting reported on November 30th of 2022 when 63-year-old Richard Harper was shot and killed at his home. While Flores continued to claim that the shooting was in self-defense, ultimately, the jury found differently and the judge said it was not self-defense, but instead it was murder. Here is Judge Ludlow with more.
This senseless murder, it was a murder. Richard Harper, 63, his life was taken prematurely. Richie was a true victim in this case. Count 1 murder is a judgment and sentence of this court. That's a first-degree felony. You'll serve not less than 15 years in the state prison, and which may be for an indeterminate term, which could include up to your natural life in prison. And so the court is going to order that the sentence run consecutive to one another.
Barring appeal, Flores will not be eligible for parole until he has served at least 20 years of his sentence.
Thanks, Cody. Now we'll go to Aaron Crane for this week's local sports update.
Thanks, Monica. In the first week of Region 9 football action, Desert Hills, Crimson Cliffs, and Dixie all secured wins, with Desert Hills defeating Pineview 35-14 behind a strong defensive effort and the homecoming king, Cyrus Polu. Crimson Cliffs outpaced Cedar 36-14, and Dixie edged out Hurricane 41-35 thanks to a standout performance by Rand Sawyer, who scored all 6 of the Flyers' touchdowns. Snow Canyon also claimed their first win of the season with a commanding 47-10 victory over Centennial from Nevada. The Cedar High School girls soccer team had a strong week, winning both of their Region 9 games at home. On Tuesday, Cedar defeated Dixie 3-0 with goals from Tylee Nielsen, Maddie Marriott, and Kyla Johnson, while goalkeeper Cambria Semper earned a shutout. They followed up with a 3-1 victory over Snow Canyon on Thursday, with goals from Eliza Heaton and Kyla Johnson sealing the win. Cedar now sits at 7-3 overall and 3-2 in region, tied for second place. Next week, Cedar will face Pineview, while Snow Canyon and Crimson Cliffs also have key matches. Now back to you, Monica.
Thanks, Aaron. Emerald ash borers, invasive beetles that have killed millions of ash trees in the U.S. and Canada, are moving west toward Utah from nearby states, threatening southern Utah's urban forests and potentially causing the functional extinction of native ash trees if preventative measures aren't taken. Here's Alicia Lundgren for the full story.
Emerald ash borers are invasive insects. They were originally spotted in Michigan in 2002 and have been slowly moving across the U.S., as explained by Ryan Johnson, an urban and community forester with the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands.
That is a severe ash tree pest. The reason it's of great concern is because it's been moving from west to east. It's an Asian species. that has been wiping out a lot of our favorite urban trees. And when it comes into a certain area, it'll wipe out all the ash trees and sort of make them functionally extinct.
While emerald ash borers have not been found in Utah, the state has responded to the issue by running a trapping program to monitor for the beetle and has instituted a quarantine, banning ash trees and ash tree materials from being imported from other states. Additionally, Johnson encourages southern Utahns to plant various species of trees in their yards to increase the urban forest diversity and mitigate potential impacts should the beetle find its way into Utah.
Thanks, Alicia. In Washington Fields, a neighborhood charity festival on September 7th honored the 23rd anniversary of 9/11 with a community event featuring barbecue, donations for local services, and a celebration of unity and remembrance. Here's Eric Gould for more on this story.
Community members near South Durango Circle in Washington held a neighborhood charity festival on Saturday night. Donations were collected for local service industries like Switchpoint and Youth Futures. The service event also paid tribute to 9/11, to those who were lost that day, and to the first responders and their families who sacrificed so much. Resident Paul Rumsey told St. George News that the community was excited by the idea of a charity festival from the very beginning, and the strong turnout on Saturday night showed that their message was received.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. To learn more about our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law, go to wewininjurylaw.com. I'm Monica McLaughlin with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5, brought to you by We Win Injury Law.